getting out all shows. So when we open up with introduction of our heroes.
Hi everybody, my name is Yahne, and I am the PubliSIS Grind PR and marketing firm. So I deal with a lot of nano influencers, startup businesses, nonprofits, but I do a lot of work with personal branding. I have my own personal brand. If anyone's interested, it's Miss Yahne on everything. But I'm going to share some tips and tricks about what I show my company.
I'm Max Weisman. I've been around camp because I'm the Councilman's Communications Director. I also have my personal company where I do branding and media training. So I can talk about how I've built a brand around Councilman Thomas and also how I work with private sector companies to build their brands.
I'm Doobie, Elliot. I'm co-founder of Pure Fuel. Pure Fuel is a hydration drink, plant-based hydration drink, and we also have an energy version as well that is also plant-based. So I'll be speaking about the branding around Pure Fuel and also the partnerships that we connect with and how and what we're looking at and seeing for also student athletes as well.
The first question I want to start off with is how can athletes how can student athletes make themselves stand out from others? So what are the tips that athletes continue to make their brand more unique than just other athletes not standing in the same boat as them, definitely just standing out.
Alright, can all the athletes in the room please raise your hand? Alright, everybody raise your hand. You all have something specific about you, whether you're comfortable about sharing it or not, to share with, your audience. You have audiences that are looking at you. You have younger athletes that are looking up to you. So it really is about being brave enough to put your story out there and to share your interests, your insights. Even though, you may think no one else, why would they want to be like me? Or I don't have anything special or unique. Trust me when I say that you do. You all have a different audience that you're able to talk to. Maybe even me, myself, I have my own audience. But I can't talk to the same people that you can talk to. You can have the same message, but they're going to listen to you guys more than they will listen to me if they're into sports. So just feel free knowing that, you can be yourself and there's always someone to listen and someone that relates to you.
I agree with all of that. I'd also add, when I tell people when we're doing a branding workshop, you're going to think of 2 to 3 adjectives that you want someone to use to describe you. Make sure that you're always exemplifying those adjectives and nothing else. So it's important to you that people think you're funny. It's important to test the jokes and make sure that the things are transferable enough to a wide audience. If it's not important to you to be funny, don't try to be funny. I think also, as we just discussed, everybody here is an athlete. So you need to put your athletic abilities out there in a way that your talent shines. You also have to do more than that. So showing issues that you care about, showing your background, the trend right now with influencers is the more authentic and transparent you are with your audience, the more your audience will engage with you. And that's what brands who are offering an idea is looking for. They want to tap into your audience to use you to sell ideas or products.
Yeah, so I just want to touch on just being authentic. Don't just take a deal because you want the money, right? I deal with a bunch of athletes, a bunch of entertainers, and the first thing they ask me about is, yo, can I get some Pure? Or can you sponsor this event or that event? And, my thing is, well, first, let me just send you the product, right? And let me just see if you like the product first and foremost. Because if you don't like the product, the whole campaign is done. Because you have to organically enjoy the product before you can really get behind or endorse something. So just be authentic in whatever that is. Like if it's a t-shirt brand, if it's some food, you have to really enjoy the product because the consumer, they will definitely see through all of these. They will see through it, and if you're not authentic and just want it just for a commercial, but don't really bang with the product down the line, then it will show up. So, like, just be yourself.
And one thing I wanted to add is like maybe like a little hack to figure out what's authentic to you is maybe filming, even if it's just for yourself and you're not going to share it with your audience, maybe film like a short day in the life. So you can share like what you do when you wake up in the morning, what you're doing for lunchtime, how do you wind down at night before you go to bed. Those things outside of you being an athlete are the things that are going to make people stick to you for the long run. That's another thing that you can try to do to see what your authenticity looks like.
My next question is how important is having social media involved in like branding your game? Also, what are the tips that athletes can teach them to engage their followers or grow their followers?
Yeah, so social media is definitely important, especially for this generation right here. I mean, like, social media is everything. And just being on social media is not good enough. Like, you definitely have to post consistently, post every day. And if you're a student athlete that's looking to reach out to a brand, definitely send that brand a DM, right? And you know, if they don't answer, send them another DM. But there's nothing wrong with stalking a company that you want to do business with, especially if you like the product.
I would agree with all of that, and I would also add that I use social media more for networking than I do in-person networking. So if I meet someone in person, I don't even carry business cards anymore, making sure you do follow for follow, making sure that you're asking permission, but making sure you're posing for pictures with people that you meet in new places that you meet, because not only does it help your followers get to know you, but it helps brands see what you're about, where you're going, what type of person you're trying to put out there. And just a very small one for making sure that everything's consistent. So for Councilman Thomas, it's at CM Thomas on all platforms. We're on TikTok now, so if you are not listening to me and scroll on your phone, if you can just go to CM Thomas PHL and just give a follow, so I'll at least get that out of you. And another thing, just on the flip side, just a quick anecdote, we had a supporter who, she would retweet all of our stuff, she would engage with all of our stuff, and I wanted to so badly support her, but I won't say it in this space, but her handle had inappropriate language in it, so I couldn't promote it, I couldn't get her deals, and she is a great person who does wonderful things in person, and digitally just there wasn't a lot of savviness there, so I would also make sure you go to a trusted friend, a teacher, a family member, maybe someone who's in a different generation than you, and just ask them to scroll on your profile and give some feedback about how they see that you're portraying yourself.
And yeah, so social media is definitely important. One thing I want to add, so when I have a table out there set up, and when I was setting up, it's a woman that's selling some really nice sunglasses, and a lot of young women stopped passing with trying glasses on, and she said, well, you know, I want you to tag me on Instagram. The young lady said, I don't have an Instagram. I don't know if she was serious or not, but that brought up some, okay, I see who it was, okay. It's okay. But here's the thing, not everybody has social media is what I want to say. So even though social media is very important right now, if you don't have a social media, what you can do is go out to different events. For example, I'm quite certain that maybe none of you here have seen me on social media before or met me before. So how else would you have met me? You know, some of you might follow me, some of you might not after this situation here. But another way to get your name out there is to go out and do events. Something that's on my table, shameless plug here, is I have a raffle going on. So if you give me your name and your information, I'll pick a name and I'll have you featured in one of my clients' podcast shows, Philadelphia Radio. They have a radio station here in Philadelphia. And if I pick your name, you can have a conversation on air with him. So my thing is really just get out there any way that you can. Yes, social media is very important, but there are so many other ways. And just practice talking to people whenever you get the chance. I see a lot of people in here seem like they're a little bit shy. I've grown up that way. So trust me when I say I've put things in place intentionally to practice speaking. I'm still not the best speaker now, but I have a whole communications company. I'm not the best speaker now, but just do every chance you get, just practice speaking, volunteer. Make yourself very uncomfortable. Because because the more you do that, the better it will be. Trust me.
Since you touched on the topic of being above being haters, we are definitely aware of how being above it can be the best thing that keeps around. Makes you very empathy, where that goes, very good people.
So awareness. Yeah, putting yourself out there will definitely help people. I saw this one fact that said, in order for people to purchase with you, to trust you, they have to come across you at least 7 times. I don't know where I heard that from, but I found that it's true. So these companies who would like to partner with you, I heard the last panel say that it's a business deal. It definitely is. So if they feel like they cannot make money off of you sharing their product, they're not going to work with you. So the thing is, these companies, they want for your audience to buy their things. You may have never seen that company before, but if your audience hears you talk about it, they already trust you. They've been following you for a while. They've seen you more than 7 times, so that trust factor may be there, you know. So it's very important for people to see you. So think on that aspect and how that relationship works with you and your audience, or you and your family, or you and your friends. They trust you. So the more these companies and these, the public can see you, the more they're going to listen to you.
So about community, so like, I'm guessing that we're all coming from the inner city, right? So community is definitely near and dear to my heart because just growing up, like in South Philly, the only stars or celebrities that I would see would be your entertainers, like such as a rapper, like such as Beasley, like coming through. I believe when I was growing up, my soul Butler made it to the NBA, got rest his soul. So, but when I was actually on the come up and like in high school, I really didn't have that guidance or those form of entertainers to really look at and to really guide me. But whenever I see Pure Crew, I'm looking at people like Lala. I'm looking at people like Gillian. Like these are people from our community that love, like just to give back, right? And these are 2 guys that are partners of mine, but they are the ones who helped create this drink, right? So I don't know how many people from these urban communities grow up to start beverage companies, but there's not a lot. So definitely your community, your culture is definitely key because most of us, we see rappers, we see prominent basketball players, but how many times do we really get to see that businessman or that lawyer or that accountant that's really doing it, right? Or honestly, that realtor. Like my realtor, like he's a black guy, he's here and he sold me one of my most expensive cribs, right? Like just to keep a lot of it real. But however, like I'm just an advocate just for my community, and like I just love seeing these brown and black faces because you know I'm just a walking example, and the people that I've been around, such as Wallow and Gilly, are just walking examples of what can come out of our communities. And you know it's definitely possible, but it's not going to be easy, and nothing is going to be handed to you at all. So you know, like your community-based matters. But definitely, when you make it to that level that you can give back, please just give back to your community because there's nothing like it.
I just want to add, there's a term in business called corporate social responsibility, and it's this idea that you're more likely to purchase a product from a corporation that gives back to the community. So it's why you see organizations like Comcast have Comcast Cares, where they're out in the community and they're branded Comcast shirts, cleaning up parks and cleaning up big things. The same is true for you and your personal brand. You're more likely to get a loyal following and a deal out of that following if people can see the causes that you believe in. And there's really no right or wrong cause. There's no real right cause. But if you just put yourself out there in an authentic way and show that you care and doing the work because you care about the work and not just for the brand, you'll get engagement off of that, and you'll get deals off that engagement.
I heard that branding is like figuring out who is your target audience, so you have tips on how you can figure out what your target audience is, and how do you like go with their demand and needs, like how do you still stay appealing to the people and just get the best work for their target audience?
Target audience to me is so funny. I talk to a lot of my clients about this, and normally when I first work with them and I ask them, who do you want your audience to be? Who do you want to follow you or to buy from you? And a popular answer is everybody. I want everybody to buy my stuff, right? But that's not how you reach people. If you are trying to target to everybody, your message is not going to be received. It might seem too busy, it might seem confusing. So you don't really want to do that, right? So you want to look at who's already paying attention to you. That's the easiest way to figure out your target audience. Or you can choose who you want your target audience to be. So for me, I would say my target audience has a lot to do with, I would say women ages maybe 26 to 35. They are primarily entrepreneurs. Some of them have a 9-to-5 job, they work on the side. But with me knowing just that little bit of information and seeing these people are already watching me, I know what their struggles are. They have trouble trying to do everything by themselves. So if I'm putting out content, teaching them how to release some of that stress and ask for help when you need it and different things like that, I know exactly that I'm going to get their attention. They're going to really pay attention to me. So knowing who your target audience is helps you understand what do they want to hear. And then within all of that stuff, as you're making your different content or going to your different events and things like that, everyone else will find out about you along the way. But your target audience is where you should start, so that way your message makes sense to the people that more will likely buy with you.
So there's 3 terms. There's supporters, opponents, and persuaders. Supporters are the people who are going to naturally follow you because of who you are. These are the people who you might go to school with them, you might meet them at camp, you might know them from your neighborhood. Opponents are people who they just don't like you. It's just a fact, maybe because of the school you go to, because of the sport you play, because of the specific team you play, they're just not going to like you. And it's not really worth your time and energy to get them to like you. But your persuadables are the people you spend the most time with. So these are people who, they may not know you, but if they know you, and to the same point, if they see you 6 or 7 times, they might like you and start to follow you and actually see you as a person of their life. So what we do in our office a lot is the Councilman Thomas brand is father, council member, coach. So we have those 3 buckets, and we go through, and anybody who follows him because he's a council member, we make a list of what types of groups support him, what type of groups don't support him, and what type of groups could support him but may just not know about him. And to the same point of just being present on social media at events, we make a list of where those persuadable people may be, and we get in front of them as many times as possible. That's why we invest our time, invest our money, invest our manpower. And the great thing about social media is a lot of platforms have creator studios where you can just look at your analytics and see exactly what type of person is following. I know on TikTok and Instagram specifically, they'll break it down by demographic, geographics, and Facebook will even give you interests. So they kind of give you the cheat code, you just have to be creative in terms of how you get in front of it.
Yeah, so target demographic. So I'm just going to do it like this. So how many in here are vegans? Anybody in here vegan? All right, cool. That's it. All right. So my drink is a plant-based drink, right? So if I'm walking down the street and I told any one of you guys that I have a plant-based drink, what would y'all think?
I like to try it.
I'm gonna drink it.
So you would or you wouldn't?
I will drink it.
Okay. Like, so you will drink it because I said it's a plant-based drink, right?
Yeah, I don't care what it is. I'm just gonna drink it.
All right. So listen. So I said that to say, right? The target demographic of this drink, right? It's a better for you, better tasting product, but it just so happens to be plant-based, right? So whenever I'm talking to somebody that's really off the plant-based stuff, they think about products that just taste nasty and disgusting for you, right? But my thing with a target demographic is I'm more so educating the consumer about my product, right? if you look at most competitors that have sports drinks, they all have synthetic products in them, right? And those are products that are not good for you at all, right? But this product, it has vitamins in it, it has electrolytes in it, and it doesn't have anything synthetic. Everything in here is plant-based, right? Everything in here grows from the ground. So whenever I look at a target demographic, it's more about educating my consumers as to why I have a better product and why you should choose my product over my competitor, right? Because I'm better tasting and I'm also better for you. And then I go into the ingredients and say, look, just taste it for yourself and you tell me what's right and what's wrong. So, I know I swayed a little bit away from the question, but just talking about target demographics, it's more so about educating your consumers and getting them to buy into your product. Because I look at this product as, this product is not just for athletes, it's not just for businessmen, but this product is a lifestyle, right? Those that want to get hydrated, they want something that's good for them, that's looking to get hydrated, drink my product. So whenever, I look at anybody, I'm saying, you're my target demographic because I have a better tasting, better for you product.
I think next touched on this topic a little bit just for including that Councilman Isaiah Thomas ran that we included his father as well. So what are ways that athletes can incorporate their lifestyle into showing their true self through branding and marketing and things?
I would say put yourself out there in every space possible is comfortable. It's never a moment where we cut it on and cut it off. I feel like if I were to ask any of you, does anybody have a personal brand? Anybody in here already? Okay, so I see about 3 or 4 hands. So these are definitely leaders in the room. They weren't scared to share. Not saying the rest of you are not, but they're leaders. I can tell that they put their hands up right away. No matter what space you're in, if someone's talking to you about what you're about, what kind of sport you play, things like that, you shouldn't be ashamed to share that. So I would say every space possible, definitely feel comfortable sharing it.
I think something else we do in the office is because it filters a lot to show what's a more filtered councilman look and what's a less filtered behind the scenes. It's a way that if it's a partnership deal or paid advertisement, those are the ones that you might filter a little more and bring in nice lighting, maybe makeup. For behind the scenes, if you're just with your friends and your family at home, it's a way you can show physically through your location how things are different and more authentic you, but it's also a way that you can kind of peer behind the filter and play with. When I say filter, I mean actual filter on Instagram and TikTok, but you can show through the quality of photos what's meant to be seen and what's kind of an insider scoop for your more real followers.
Yeah, so I'm big on branding. As you can see, I wear my hat, I wear my shirt, I got my banner up, I got my drinks here, so I'm big on brands, right? And you as yourself, you guys have to carry yourself in that manner. Whatever you guys want to portray, you have to be a walking billboard as to what you want to get across. You will honestly attract more brands by just showing off yourself than you will by just walking up and just approaching somebody and just plain clothes, honestly. Because who knows, somebody, they might like that t-shirt that you have on, and they might ask you, hey, what did mercy mean? Yeah, put the headband. Yeah, what's that?
Huh? It's a college.
Okay, I'm assuming you go there? No. But however, you just like the orange and black, so that's why you wore the headband?
Not representing the volleyball team.
Oh, you are a representative of their volleyball team. All right, well, they say it with confidence, right? I see you wearing a headband, now just say it with confidence, right? So that's an image of branding, right? You have on a Gwen and Mercy headband, and I want to know why you have on that Gwen and Mercy headband. So I approached you and asked you what that headband meant, and you told me. So branding is everything. Like, who knows who might just walk up to you and just ask you a question about what you have on. Branding is everything.
All right, I think that wraps it up. Y'all got any questions for the Brandon?
How do you fight adversity if you come
You said, how do you come across, like, how do you command against adversity if somebody doesn't like your brand? Like, if you have needs or something.
Yeah.
So back to the point of opponents, in politics, a lot of what politicians do is they put their ideas out there. So Councilman Thomas, he's been a leader on some controversial topics, which our supporters, we kind of galvanize them to fight our opponents for us. So what I'll do is we get a lot of trolls who give a lot of racist comments to Councilman Thomas. So some people will fight that on themselves because they'll just see something offensive out there. It's a public profile, so they'll just get into it in the comments. What I will do is, I was saying before, sometimes I instigate. And I'll take people who I know them on a personal level, but I also know their social media presence, and I'll give them a few punchier tweets or comments that can't come from me, and can't come from the councilman, that it's helpful to put out there. And so sometimes we'll galvanize other people to do the dirty work for us. Sometimes we'll also interact with the troll. So a lot of times when it comes to government, there's just a lot of ignorance and apathy. So people will respond to us with ignorance. And we'll kind of play with them and use like punchier language to educate people, but show that we're engaging with trolls because people like to see that it's a real person behind the keyboard. That's another tip. Like, don't use AI and ChatGPT to write your captions and stuff. People can see right through that. But if you see that you're interacting with a real person, especially when you see that someone's fighting for what they believe in, even if it's fighting a nasty battle, people respect it.
Yeah, so honestly, like you use your haters as your marketing team. And you know, like Wallow says this all the time, like use your haters as your marketing team. And you know, with Wallow thankfully, specifically, all of the trolling comments that are under their Instagram pages and all of the negative comments, they never go back and forth with those people at all, right? They just use that as motivation to just do better, right? So whenever you're facing adversity and someone doesn't like whatever you're doing, yes, you may hear it, but listen to it, take it in, and just do better. Because honestly, that's just one person in a long list of everyone in America that might even say something mean or negative about you. But just use that as just motivation, like to just do better.
I have a personal friend who, when Instagram did their update and then you can see how many shares you give a certain post, she didn't like it. She didn't like it at all because she was like, I feel like all these shares are coming from people that don't like me. She's a new singing artist and she's a little scared of herself out there. So she just, you know, she thinks negatively first. That's how she is. She's very self and insecure. However, when it comes to putting yourself out there and building your personal brand, I just want to encourage you all to kind of look at different things that will help you with like your self-love journey and to like continue to build yourself up, find things that will help pour back into you because you will see things that may hurt your feelings. I've heard people tell me I look like all types of things with my hair out, chocolate crying, all types of funny things, right? But like if I didn't work on myself, that would really hurt my feelings a lot. So just continue working on that. You are going to get those people, but just know that a lot of people that you know are up against you, it comes from a place of flattery. Sometimes they're really upset that they can't do what you're doing. So also look at it that way.
What are ways to collaborate with people like with your brand?
Ways to collaborate. See some other people who may be reaching audiences that you can't naturally reach. Like for example, like I said, I had that record on my table for Philadelphia Radio. Their audience is a lot of older people. So I want to say maybe ages 30 to 50 or 60 years old. But you don't know. I'm sorry. I wasn't saying that. I'm just not that age, you guys. I'm sorry. So here's the thing. These are not people that you may reach naturally, but you don't know who everyone knows. Everyone in here knows somebody who can benefit the next person, whether you are aware of how and in what way. but everyone knows somebody that can help you in some area of your life, and you never know. So, like, for example, that would be a nice collaboration if you're someone who's, like, okay to be a talker, and then you're not afraid to share some part of your story or your opinions. So collaboration will definitely help you out, and try to explore ones that you wouldn't actually think about. Just see what they have to offer for your brand.
Yeah, so collaboration is definitely big. I mean, so like Pure Fuel has only been in existence like 18 months, but we collaborated with the NBA, with teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, also the WNBA, teams like the Chicago Sky. But all of those collaborations came from just the resources, right? And like you look like that you're in high school, so like, you know, not to put you on the spot or anything, but like, did you get good grades? Okay. So like that's a start, right? So right, exactly. That's a haircut, right? But however, internships, like you can seek out internships, like to just peek into various companies to see if you want to collab and work with them, you know, in the future. But just networking, like networking is definitely key, and talking to the right people in the right companies will go a long way. But definitely just stay on track, just keep your grades up, and just keep those networks that you want to be close to. Just keep in mind and just go up to people and just talk to them, right? Like that's the best one.
All right, I got one more question. I try to hear
He didn't answer.
No more questions, and this meeting was ended. Let me give a round of applause.